Today, we're going to dig into a really tough challenge for Indonesia. How do you keep kids in school? The government has this huge and what seems like a really simple solution. But as we're about to find out, just throwing money at a problem, well, it isn't always the answer. Let's get into it. Imagine this, a national program with one main tool, a card that delivers cash straight to the families who need it the most. I mean, it sounds like a perfect fix, doesn't it? A simple, elegant answer for a problem that seems to be all about money. But what if the reasons kids leave school go way deeper than just empty pockets? What if the real problem is something that a cash card, no matter how well-intentioned, just can't touch? That's the big question we're really exploring here. To even begin to understand the solution, you first got to wrap your head around the sheer scale of the problem. And honestly, the numbers are pretty mind-boggling. 2.6 million. That's the number of kids in Indonesia just between ages 7 and 15 who aren't in school. To put that into perspective for you, that's like the entire population of a city like Chicago, just missing out on a basic education, an education that's supposed to be guaranteed by the country's own constitution. And this chart from East Java pinpoints exactly where the crisis hits. See, for kids aged 13 to 15, everything looks pretty good. Almost everyone is in school. But then boom, look what happens just a couple of years later. For ages 16 to 18, participation absolutely plummets by over 20%. That massive drop-off right there, that's the dilemma. So what is the government doing to stop this freefall? Well, they've got a major flagship policy designed to do exactly that. It's called the Smart Indonesia Program, or PIP for short. And the logic behind it is really simple and, powerful. Give cash directly to students from poor families. The whole idea is to take that financial weight off the parents' shoulders, so they're more willing and more able to keep their kids in the classroom. And the goals are crystal clear. They want to help cover all those extra costs, like uniforms and transportation. They want to stop kids from dropping out in the first place. And they even hope to encourage kids who've already left to come on back. It's meant to be this comprehensive financial safety net. But how does this cash actually make its way from the government's budget into a student's hands? Well, the process is a little more involved than you might think. Okay, so the money takes quite a journey. It all starts with schools proposing which students should get the aid. Then, that list has to get approved by the Ministry of Education. After that, the Treasury moves the funds to specific banks. And finally, the bank creates a brand new student savings account for each kid and puts the money in. It is a massive logistical change just to get help where it needs to be. So the system's in place, the money is flowing, problem solved, right? Well, this is where our story takes a really sharp turn, and it's all based on what researchers found on the ground. And this brings us right back to that core nagging question. If there's financial aid on the table to help with the costs, what in the world is still pushing all these students out of school? Now, this data from a study in Sleman is absolutely fascinating because it shows the reasons kids drop out totally change with age. For elementary school kids, the top reason is social stuff, trouble with teachers or peers. Same thing for junior high kids, it's bad influences from friends. The only time that money is the number one problem is during that critical, stressful transition between schools. That's it. So the main point here is that the reasons are deeply social and psychological. Students are leaving because they're ashamed about bad grades, or they feel like their teachers are ignoring them. They're getting bullied, they're dealing with problems at home, or their friends who've already dropped out are pulling them away. These are issues that a cash deposit just cannot fix. And listen to this quote from the research. It's incredibly revealing. Some parents actually said they didn't want to waste the school money on their kids if they had low motivation or bad behavior, even when it was government aid. They just felt it was useless. That right there shows a huge disconnect between what the policy is trying to do and what a family is actually experiencing. So all of this brings us to the big finale. If cash alone isn't the complete answer, then what does a better, more effective solution actually look like? This right here really gets to the heart of the mismatch. On one side, you have the policy, and it's all transactional. It's focused on one thing, financial aid. But on the other side, you have the student's reality. What they need are supportive teachers, good friends, help with their schoolwork. They need to feel like they actually belong. They need support, not just a deposit. So here's the key takeaway. Nobody is saying the financial aid isn't important. It absolutely is. For a lot of families, especially during that tough transition to junior high, it can make all the difference. But it's just one piece of a much, much more complex puzzle. And this leaves us with a final, really challenging thought. You have a program that was designed to solve a money problem, but it's running into a crisis that's also social, psychological, and communal. So it forces us to ask a much bigger question. How can we build policies that see the whole student and not just the balance in their bank account?